and Studs! Hey there, soup noodle aficionados and broth fans. Welcome back to the channel. This is your boy Sprues and Studs, and we have another build that is going to tickle your taste buds today. We are going to be building the ramen shop, which belongs to the company Lowe's and is in their line of products called the Street Mini. This would be the second addition to my slowly growing miniature city that I am building. There was already another video that was released earlier that was a sushi house, which is the genesis of my little town or street. I can already tell you that as the mayor of this town, there will not be just a sushi shop and a ramen shop. Oh, there will be more buildings coming, so don't you worry. Anyway, focusing back on the set, there are a total of 412 pieces. As this is not a Lego product, I have absolutely no idea when this set was released, and I suppose it probably doesn't even matter to when it was released. Anyway, if you're interested in this set, it can be yours for $22.99. It can be found on the largest online retailer in the United States, as I am not sadly sponsored by the largest online realtor in the United States. I won't bother saying the name, but I'm sure that you can figure out how to get this set. So obviously, this is not this channel's first foray outside of the walled Lego gardens. We occasionally wander out and see what the rest of the world has to offer with regards to sets as well as the quality of the sets. In my experience of building these non-branded Lego sets, these things can be either a hit or a miss, or to be honest, most of them are actually somewhere in between. The ramen shop, for example, is one of those things that are, well, somewhere in between. I really like the design and the look of this set, especially the gigantic ramen bowl at the top of the roof, as well as the tactically placed chopsticks that are on the side of the ramen bowl. However, there are slight build issues that I encountered that I was not really a fan of. For example, there are two lantern things that are hanging outside of the shop. Those lanterns are very easy to knock off, and you constantly have to reattach them when you are picking up the set. Another issue were the plastic pieces that represent a cloth overhang that you would usually find on a ramen shop in Japan, especially in the olden days. There are two rods that are meant to hold those two plastic pieces together. However, I felt the rod should have been one single piece, because the connection point of all those three blue pieces in the middle, and it actually falls apart. This then makes the connection flimsier and easier to break. However, it is not all doom and gloom for this set. There are many positive aspects to this build as well. I don't think you're actually going to hear me say this very often, but I think the stickers are actually pretty cool in this set and really helps it pop. Without the hot ramen sign in the front or the Japanese sign at the front of the restaurant, I think that the shop would look very plain and boring. Also, on the first floor of the shop is a very accurate representation of what a ramen shop should be. There are stools at the front of the bar, and there is a small kitchen complete with a sink in which the workers can make the ramen. On the second floor, I believe that there is a nice private area where I suppose special VIP diners can go and enjoy the second story and view out of the second story. What I find funny about this set is that on the roof, there are, well, I'm going to assume they're going to be alcohol and beer bottles. It is almost like the workers at the restaurant, either on their breaks or when they get off work, they go up to the rooftop or the rooftop bar and have a drink or something before they go home. Regardless, I think it is a nice touch of realism because a lot of people in the hospitality industry in the United States go out and have a drink before they end the night, or in actuality, end the morning. So now I'm gonna blab a little bit about ramen. I will have to say that ramen is likely my third most favorite thing to eat. Pho and bún bò Huế are my favorite things to eat, and both of which are Vietnamese dishes. This then would be followed by sushi in a very close second, which is why I actually bought the sushi house initially. Then finally, we come back to ramen. So there are many types of ramen depending on the areas that you go to in Japan or the United States, or to be honest, everywhere in the world, because ramen is quite prevalent. Each of them have their own recipe and or special ramen that they produce. I had heard that Hokkaido ramen is supposed to be the most epic ramen in Japan, but unfortunately, I have yet to experience that for myself. I had ramen in Osaka, Kyoto, and Tokyo, and all the ramen broth flavors as well as the consistency of the broth were completely different. Not only that, the noodles were different as well. They can be thick, thin, or literally anywhere in between. I will let you know that even within a single city or town, that each ramen shop is also completely different. I suppose that is why I love ramen so much, which is because of all the diversity. Now, if you were to ask me what my favorite type of ramen is, well, I honestly cannot answer that question directly. I suppose it depends on what mood I'm in. Typically, I like a spicy miso ramen because the broth is typically flavored, well, with miso, and the broth has such a delicious umami taste that I simply can't get enough of. If the restaurant has a yuzu shio ramen, I will actually go for that one too. Yuzu is one of my most favorite Japanese citrus fruits, and it gives the ramen, well, a very unique citrus flavor. I also love the lightness of the shio broth because shio in Japan is salt and the broth is completely clear. However, my most favorite thing about eating ramen is not the pork chashu or the random vegetable fixings. Well, my favorite thing is a perfectly cooked, yolky, runny egg. There's nothing more exciting than taking a bite out of the runny egg. I will equate it to, I can't really say that here, but it is definitely on the upper echelon of food. A quick shout out to my Brick family. You guys simply are the best. Thank you for your continued support and viewership. I would not be here if it were not for you all, and please continue to support the channel by leaving a comment in the comment section. Anyway, I could sit here and talk literally forever about the nuances of ramen and continue on with all the different delicious flavors that are possible of ramen, but I would probably bore you to death, or we will just literally run out of time on this video. And lo and behold, it appears that we actually have run out of time on this video. Okay, my Brick family, let me know in the comments section what you think about this non-Lego build. Does it motivate you to get one of these sets and build one yourself? Does it motivate for you to get yourself some hot slurpy ramen? Buyer beware. You may actually get some carpal tunnel putting this together, as the pieces are really hard to grip and they are small. So this is Spruce and Studs. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as you know, I will see you all in the next build.